Friends, if I tell you that power does not come only from money or position, the real power comes from people's ability to understand thoughts and influence them subtly, then will you believe me? Have you ever felt that some people take control of the environment as soon as they enter a room? Without raising their voice, without arguing, only with their presence and strategy, and some people are ignored even after hard work. The difference is not only in knowledge, the difference is in mindset. In today's video, we will talk about Master Machiavellian mindset, a way of thinking that will teach you to see the world as it is, not as you want to see it. Here we will talk about reality, not idealism. We will understand how perception becomes power, how silence becomes a weapon, why controlling emotions gives tactical advantage, and how timing becomes a thin line between victory and defeat. You will learn how to read people, how to identify their hidden motives, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to take risks, and when to wait is the biggest strategy. This video will not make you manipulative, but will make you aware so that you do not become a victim of manipulation yourself. You will understand how influence is built, how authority is created, and how respect is earned without any show. If you are in business, have an interest in politics, want to learn leadership, or just want to be strong in life, then this mindset can prove to be a game changer for you. But remember, this knowledge will not be understood at the surface level. It will have to be absorbed deeply. So watch this video till the end, because every chapter will open a layer, and by the time you reach the end, your thinking will not be the same as before. If you want to get the deep insights of such powerful psychology and mindset books in an easy and practical way, then subscribe to the Bookpedia channel right now, so that every upcoming video reaches you first. Today's beginning is not just one video, it can be the beginning of the evolution of your thinking. Get ready, because now the game is of strategy, and the one who can think beyond thought will win. Chapter 1. The Birth of Power. Thinking. Imagine if two people live in the same city. Their qualifications are the same, their efforts are the same, and their dreams are the same. Still, after a few years, a man becomes powerful. People listen to him, feel his presence, and the other remains the same. What was the difference? Talent? Luck? No. The difference was his mindset. This is where power thinking is born. Before the outside world changes, a man makes a silent revolution in his mind. Once upon a time, there was a boy who spoke the most in every meeting. He thought that speaking more meant more influence. But gradually he noticed that people do listen to him, but they don't take him seriously. In the same meeting, there was another man who spoke less. But when he spoke, everyone would be silent. Why? Because he understood that power is not in the height of the voice, but in the depth of perception. The first rule of power thinking is to stop looking at yourself as a victim. As long as you keep considering life unfair, you are giving control to someone else. But the day you understand that every situation is a game, and every game has a strategy, that day your transformation begins. This mindset makes you reactive and strategic. Many people take emotional decisions. They think that honesty is the greatest strength. But in the real world, perception is more powerful. If people consider you weak, then your goodness also becomes weakness. Power thinking teaches you to keep yourself in a strong position first, then move. It's like chess. Every move is calculated, every step is calculated, and there is a hidden truth here. Power is never announced loudly, it is built silently. When you learn to control your body language, tone, timing, and silence, people feel your energy without saying a word. This is the birth moment of influence. You don't have to be aggressive. You have to be aware. You don't have to look at every situation emotionally. You have to look at it psychologically. When you understand that people react more to perception than actions, then you change the rules of the game. Remember, power thinking does not come overnight. It comes with consistency. Observe yourself every day. Where are you reacting unnecessarily? Where are you over-explaining? Where you try to prove yourself, your power decreases. There is no need to prove real strength. This is the birth of power thinking. When you understand that the real game is not outside, it is going inside. And the day you control your mind, the world starts looking at you differently. Chapter 2. Control the narrative. Control the world. And the world accepted the same story. This is the game. The one who controls the narrative controls the result. What is the truth? It doesn't always matter. What people see, what they hear, what they feel, becomes the reality. If you don't define your image, someone else will make a story about you, and often that story is not in your favor. Think how many people are living an average life on social media, but their online image looks powerful. Why? Because they have understood framing. They have learned to highlight, not struggle. Real life is something like this. If you discuss your problems everywhere, people will consider you a problem person. But if you look calm, focused, and solution-oriented, people will start considering you a leader. Controlling the narrative doesn't mean being fake. It means smart positioning. You have to decide how people see you: weak, confused, or composed and strategic. This control is hidden in your body language, tone, timing, and words. A confident pause is often more powerful than 1,000 words. There was a boy who always kept explaining his achievements. He thought he was building a transparency trust. But gradually people stopped taking him seriously. Then he changed his approach. He stopped talking. He started showing results. He didn't present himself everywhere, but kept a selective presence. Suddenly people's behavior changed. Respect increased. Why? Because the narrative shifted. Remember, the world runs on more stories than facts. If you don't consciously design your own story, random events will make your identity. Strategic people think in every situation, how to frame this moment. Do I want to look like a victim or a leader? There is a deep truth here. Narrative is not only for others, but also for yourself. If you call yourself unlucky or weak again and again, your mind will accept it. But the day you change your internal story, your energy changes. Control the narrative, and you will not only control people's thoughts, but also your future. This is the next level of power. Friends, have you ever noticed that the most powerful people speak the least? They don't jump into every argument. They don't immediately answer every question, yet their value doesn't decrease, but increases. Why? Because they have learned the art of strategic silence. Once in a business meeting, two people were sitting face to face. One was reacting to every point. He was trying to prove his intelligence. The other was just listening, calm, focused. He used to ask a small question in between. The meeting was over, and the decision went in favor of the same quiet man. Why? Because the one who spoke less, he observed more. And the one who observed more, he understood the game. Silence is not a weakness. Silence is control. When you don't react immediately, the other person gets confused. He doesn't understand what you are thinking, and uncertainty always gives power. It is easy to control a predictable person. An unpredictable person creates influence. Many people keep explaining in every situation. Over-explaining is a sign of insecurity. When you justify again and again, you are indirectly signaling that you need approval. But when you take a pause, keep silent. The other person has to make an effort. Effort always creates value. Imagine if someone criticizes you and you start defending immediately. Game over, you gave control. But if you just listen, smile a little, and say nothing, the power shifts. The other person himself starts doubting that maybe he is overreacting. This is psychology. There was a boy who wanted to win in every debate. He should always have the last word. But slowly people started avoiding him. Then he did an experiment. He left the last word in every argument. He stopped participating in unnecessary discussions. Within a few months, his image changed. People started considering him mature and composed. Strategic silence means understanding the timing, when to speak and when to remain silent. It is not necessary to react to everything. Often, silence is the loudest statement. When you control your emotions and take a pause, then you can observe the situation. And observation is real intelligence. Remember, power is not always found in noise. Power is found in clarity, and clarity is born in silence. The day you learn to create influence even when you are silent, you will reach the next level of the game. Chapter 4, Emotional Detachment, Tactical Advantage. We appreciate the feedback. A few weeks later, the same investor met another co-founder privately, and the deal was made with him. Why? Because the investor needed more temperament than ideas. Emotional detachment does not mean being cold or heartless. It means creating space between reaction and response. When you don't react immediately, you can see the situation from above. Like a chess player sees the entire board before every move. If he focuses only on one piece, he will lose the game. People will often provoke you, criticize you, test you. If you get triggered every time, the other person understands that you have control over him. But when you remain neutral, keep your expression steady, keep your tone calm, the other person gets confused. He does not understand how to manipulate you. This is the psychological shield. There was a boy who used to get hurt on every little thing. If someone made a joke in the office, he would remain upset for days. Then he started training himself. He observed that people also test power in jokes. He decided that now he would not react. Gradually, people's behavior changed because they stopped getting reaction. Reaction is over. Control is over. Emotional detachment gives you clarity. When feelings do not cloud, then the decision is sharp. Whether to take a risk or wait, the timing is right. Strategic people do not feel the situation first, but analyze it. Remember, the one who cannot control himself cannot control the world. Power is not an external fight. It is an internal mastery. The day you learn to observe your emotions, you will stop blindly following them. From that day, your strategy will become dangerous, because now you will not react, but calculate. And calculation always wins the game. Chapter 5. Reading people like an open book. Friends, have you ever thought, how do some people understand the intention of the other person? How do they know from the beginning who is loyal, who is jealous, and who is just looking at the opportunity? This is not magic. This is the skill of observation. And the person who learns to read people, he wins half the game before. A new employee came to a corporate office. He was smart, confident, and had strong words. Everyone thought he would grow quickly, but a senior was quietly observing him. He was seeing that this employee behaves differently in front of the boss and differently in front of the juniors. Listening to praise, his body language changes. His tone becomes sharp on criticism. The senior did not say anything, just kept noting. A few months later, it was time for promotion. Despite being talented, that employee skipped. Why? Because he was read. People are more revealed than words, more revealed than patterns. What someone says is more important than how he behaves consistently. Reading people means catching microsignals. How stable is the eye contact? Is the smile genuine or forced? Is he comfortable or restless in silence? These little details tell a lot. Many people trust the surface level. If someone speaks sweetly, he is considered honest. But the strategic mindset looks behind the surface. If someone is repeatedly highlighting his achievements, then maybe he wants approval. If someone becomes a victim in every situation, then maybe he is avoiding responsibility. Patterns do not lie. There was a boy who quickly trusted every new friend. Then he was betrayed again and again. He thought his luck was bad, but the problem was not luck. It was a lack of observation. He trained himself. Now he did not look at words, he looked at behavior, not promises, he checked actions. In no time, his circle changed. Because now he was not reading energy, he was reading intention. Reading people has another level, listening between the lines. Sometimes what people do not say is the most important. If someone is avoiding a question, changing a topic, or explaining unnecessarily, then something is hidden. Silence also gives information. Remember, influence does not come just by speaking. Influence comes by understanding. When you recognize people's fear, desire, and insecurity, then you can predict their decisions. And prediction is power. The day you learn to read people like an open book, it will be almost impossible because now you are not looking at the surface, you are looking at the depth. And the one who understands depth is the real player. Chapter 6. Build influence that lasts. It is easy to take temporary control, but it is rare to make permanent authority. Many people show power for some time. Loud voice, aggressive behavior, a little success, and they think now people will always follow. But the truth is that control from fear is short-term. Influence made with respect is long-term. There was a businessman who kept everyone in his company scared. Employees were afraid of him. They kept quiet in his presence. Work was done, but loyalty was zero. As soon as there was a little crisis in the market, Half the team left him because fear does not make a connection. Fear only makes compliance, and compliance is temporary. There was another leader in the same city. He was also strict but composed. He did not explain every decision, but he was consistent. His tone was steady, actions predictable, and standards were clear. People were not afraid of him. They respected him. When a difficult time came, his team stood with him. This is the difference between control and influence. Consistency is the most powerful strategy. If your behavior changes every day, people get confused. Confusion destroys trust. But when your energy is stable, your principles are clear, people start taking you seriously. There was a boy who changed his personality every week, sometimes aggressive, sometimes over-friendly, sometimes silent. He thought flexibility was smartness, but people started considering him unreliable. Then he studied himself. He decided to stay calm, not overreact, not make unnecessary promises. Gradually, his image became stable, and a stable image is the foundation of authority. To build influence, you have to be visible, but not desperate. You have to create value, but not ask for over-approval. When people see that you are self-controlled, emotionally stable, and think long-term, they are naturally attracted. Understand another deep truth. Influence is not made by force, but by perception. If people believe that you are dependable, strategic, and are also composed of pressure, then your authority grows. Authority is not announced, it is earned. Remember, temporary victory is exciting, but lasting influence is powerful. When your presence signals trust and strength, when people follow your standard even in your absence, then you have won the real game. Influence that does not decrease with time is the real power. Conclusion. Friends, now stop for a moment and think. If you have really understood all these layers, then you are not like before, because the real game of power does not start outside, but inside. From birth of power thinking to strategic silence, emotional detachment to reading people, and finally lasting influence. These are not just techniques. This is a complete mindset shift. The world is not straight. People do not always think as they show. There is a game of perception everywhere. The one who is unaware becomes a pawn. The one who is aware becomes a player. The only difference is whether you react or make a strategy, whether you keep proving everything or quietly build a position. Remember, the real power is not loud, it is subtle, it is not announced in every room, it is a feel. When you control your emotions, when you design a narrative, when you make silence a weapon, when you read people, then you rise above the situation, then you do not flow. You give direction to the flow. But here is an uncomfortable truth. This mindset is not easy. It will challenge the ego. It will force you to become emotionally strong. Sometimes you have to be quiet when your heart tells you to. Sometimes you have to wait when impatience pushes you. But this discipline makes long-term power. Everyone can take temporary victory. Few people build permanent authority. And they are not different because they have more resources, but because they have clarity. Clear perception, clear strategy, clear control. Decide from today, you will not live life like random events. You will observe every situation, analyze, position. Because when you master yourself, then it becomes natural to influence the world. The real meaning of power is not to suppress others. Power means to make yourself so stable that no one can shake you easily. When your presence is calm, your thinking is sharp, and your behavior is consistent, then influence is automatically built. The game is the same. The world is the same. People are the same. Only you have to change. And the day you understand that real control is not external, but internal, from that day your journey starts at a new level. This is the ultimate realization of Master Machiavellian mindset.